Well, it's been 30 years, and I've lived on this estate since 1974, so it's actually 40 years of living here. The pride in knowing what we have accomplished on this farm, but also just the relief of knowing that I'm handing it over to some people who are trained and well qualified to lead the continuation of what we created. So in very many ways, I can say myself to be satisfied with what we have accomplished, because that is what we intended. We intended to leave something that could be a treasure to the next generation, but obviously a treasure that they'll have to discover. How do you make it more than it is today? So as much as we are satisfied with what we accomplished, we expect the next generation now to build upon it and create something far more beautiful than we were able to do. So my name is Kibuga Kariithi. I've been the CEO of Karunguru Estate Limited as a company now for something in the region of 30 years. And I'm also the CEO of Kama Group, the group company that runs the assets of the family of the late G.K. Kariithi. So those are the two positions I'm retiring from. Well, when we came here in the 70s, my father always used to tell me, the road and the frontage are going to be one day a wonderful investment, because Nairobi shall be here. Of course, at that time we thought, really, we're right in the countryside, we're a farm, 22 miles from Nairobi. Yeah, maybe not in our lifetime. It's amazing how quickly Nairobi came. And today, everybody can see that Nairobi is here. And so at that time, he told us, build 20 maishonettes. And he actually had built several maishonettes in Nairobi in 1971 to 75. So in his mind, he was thinking maishonettes. By the time we began to think about this in 2014, we had decided to go for a gated community, mainly to retain the absolute beauty of this countryside, to retain what you call low density development, so that you're not thinking about something that is high rise, that is many people. You're thinking about comfort, leisure, lifestyle, where a community will share this with us. This is a coffee estate with tracks that you can walk for 5 kilometers and not repeat, a place you can take yourself horse riding, you can go for runs, you can bicycle. That's the kind of thinking we have. Nature. Let's come back to nature. My father would sit on the veranda and watch birds for 5 hours and be completely at peace with just watching birds. And that's the kind of atmosphere we want to create. An ambience of nature where you just feel how wonderful it is to relax on your porch, and someone can walk in and you can have a cup of coffee and just spend time relaxing at peace with your community, with your environment, and call neighbors to come for dinner, lunch, ambuzi, whatever it is. That's the kind of ambience we wanted to create, because that's the kind of ambience we have lived in for 40 years. And we realized if we like it, there must be someone out there who likes it just as much as we do. Some of the really key memories, and one day I shall write about them. One day, a Muzungu came, and he came to the gate and he asked for permission to enter, and we gave him permission to enter. And he came and parked his car right on the parking out here, and my father was sitting on the veranda that day, and he just came up and he said, "My name is Glassford," and he sat down next to my father, and he cried for 30 minutes. That Muzungu was the previous owner. He was the son of the man who started this estate. And just watching him weep that he has come home to a house which was built by his father and which he had lived in for 30 years. Understanding that, and as we talk later, for him to imagine that this house was still as beautiful as he had left it, was still there, was still in an estate of coffee, was still looking as beautiful, well, he actually said more beautiful, and that we had added so many things that he loved. And as we took him round the estate and watched his incredible pleasure in seeing that this estate, which had been his childhood, had moved to a better place, and that we had all these plans to create wonderful houses for people, he couldn't but break down. And so that was the first time I saw my father in silence, knowing that let the man cry. And we just sat there with him in silence, letting him cry. And then we took him around his farm. And I say his farm because his father was the one who started it. And that's really the history that we believe in. That you take something as a steward to where you can. And then others, hopefully your children, take it further. They had decided to leave the country in 1965 when Kenya was recently independent. They decided not to risk these Africans who are going to come and run the place. It was amazing because he blessed us. He told us, thank you. Thank you for what you've done with this. Thank you for making me feel in my heart the pride of knowing we took this somewhere and somebody has come and is taking it, yes, possibly in another direction, but better than I left it. A true steward of what we left. And I think that's all we are. We're just stewards. We come for a time. We stay here and do our bit. And then from there we move on. Sometimes move on really to another world. But we move on to other things. And a new generation comes through and takes over and builds on what you have left. So that's really for me the memories here. Well, I think one of the biggest realizations we received in 2019 as we walked through how do we get this done, we realized let people build their own homes. Don't build for them. What we should do is master plan the scheme, create a design framework, create the beauty in terms of the dams, the water, the trees, the planting materials, the garden that we're going to create. Then let people build in conformity with that vision. So a lot of what we have done and rethought is about don't build for them because that's your vision. Create ambience for them to enter into a community and build for themselves. So that's what actually took us a long time, getting to a point of deciding, actually, we're not going to be developers. We're not going to build. We're simply going to provide the landscape on which people will build the home of their dreams, yes, conforming, yes, with the vegetation, the style, the thinking, but a place where they will call home because they are the ones who built it. And so that's the vision we've had. We call this home. We as a family, all my 7 siblings, will build their own homes and will also be participant in creating the future of what this will be about. And so because of that gradual change in vision, now we are at a point where we've done the master scheme, we've done all the titles, everything is ready, and we are going to put in the infrastructure as people now build their houses. So, long time in coming, a lot of hard work has been put in, but the vision is now before us to be enjoyed by those who want this kind of a lifestyle in the country, relaxed, no busy thoroughfares and highways, living for what you can walk into, you can do around here. You can even have your office here, rather than those who love the busy urban. This might not be for them. So I think this is for those who love the relaxed life of nature and farm. There are animals here, there's coffee here, there's vegetables here. Those who like that, this is for them. Well, we call it a quarter acre stand. There are no fences. So to size what you buy, we've created quarter acre titles with MOUs. What does that mean? It means that there are very strict guidelines on what you can do with your quarter acre space. Really around, you can put vegetation, so live fence to maximum 1 meter in certain parts of the stand to maybe hide your cat or your small dog. We're not going to allow big dogs. These are really pets. And you can walk directly into your neighbor's compound, because security here is going to be perimeter security. It's the external fence that keeps you safe. So like places like Kihingo, Green Park, in Naivasha, places like that, there are no fences. But security is fantastic because we guarantee you security around the perimeter. Whoever is accessing is what we stop, so that we stop any external party that is not, let's say, required, but also wanting to access from accessing, except through a very defined process of access. And so you enjoy your life here because you're amongst your neighbors. There's no stopping you walking to your friend's place and saying, hi, do you think you can come over tomorrow? That's what we want, that freedom of feeling you're just with people that you know, you are together in a community, you go to church together, you grow your children together. That's how we are looking at this, because we've been part of this community now for 40 years, and they have welcomed us, and they have been with us, and we have gone to church with them. Many of them we've known their parents, now we've known them, and they know our children. And that's how we want to continue this, that we are part of a community. So I've used the word steward with very clear knowledge of what I mean by that. A steward is not an owner. So we don't view ourselves as owning anything here. And that comes from the Bible. We own nothing. God has placed us here for a time as stewards to steward his creation for a while. And so there's a lot of the involvement of faith in everything we do. And we have said faith is our lives. It is not something you take off and say, oh, I'm doing business, therefore faith is not there. No, faith is part and parcel of everything we do. And so when we say we are stewards, we're saying really that we are only here for a time. In that time, maximize how much of God's plan you can put on this earth. And as you maximize that, be knowing that a time will come when you can also rest and give over to the new generation coming through. So that time for me, I'm now 62 years of age. I'm feeling, yes, I'm a little tired. Not tired of continuing to watch the coffee, but we have to remember that I used to pick coffee at 5 years of age. So it's been a long time working on these farms. And so now I feel time to tell my children, hata wewe, hata nyinyi fanya kazi. Yeah? It's been tough. It's been hard work. And I think I deserve my rest. And now I can watch them work as hard as I used to. And enjoy in them coming to terms with what we have left. But more importantly, enjoy them bringing me their grandchildren. So while they are working, me, I shall be looking after their children, who are my grandchildren. Two really major aspects of this community which differentiate it from everything else being built around. One, we will build this together. So it's not that you come, find a place, buy, and then you're wondering, what are the rules? How will I talk to my neighbors? No, we have a very clear plan as people come on board to introduce them to the Homeowners Association, introduce them to the Dereka Association, which is the whole road from Kenyatta Road to here, and to begin to tell them what it is our dream is, what we are building, so that they join us in this dream and become part of the dream. And as they take up this vision, we do this together. That's one of the key things, the shared ownership. Very few places can give you that opportunity, that you will build this together with others in the way all of you are sharing in a vision, so that the dream, as it comes true, becomes something unique in Kenya, that no one else has built what you've built, that it is something quite incredible in terms of what we're going to achieve, and that this is a place in which you will be proud to bring up your children. You'll feel, I made the best decision I could ever have made. 30 years from now, I'm hoping that your children will have benefited from being brought up in a community of friends around church, because we'll be building a church and a kindergarten and other facilities, and around one another, community. That we achieve what we have asked ourselves is always the principal idea behind what we do: love one for another. Then the second key thing is to understand that from an amenities perspective, you're coming to our home. So those who are coming here, unlike other projects I do because I do many things, are coming to our home. And the care and precision and the way we shall provide the infrastructure reflects that. Because actually we're doing this for ourselves, but we're willing to share with a few other people. So all the amenities that we're used to, squash courts, tennis courts, swimming pool, all those things are fully provided for in a 7-acre garden that will give you a tremendous club site. And we are hoping that even as you invite your friends over to stay, some will stay with the clubhouse facility, some will stay with you, but we'll provide you with the capacity to rent out your villa or whatever it is, so that we can also be inviting people to stay the night or whatever and enjoy this as well. So you can earn rent on whatever you build until you're ready to retire like me, or you can be part of bringing small groups that come here just to enjoy the ambience with us, to enjoy the manor house, to enjoy a variety of things we are putting in place, so that this becomes like an oasis, a place where people say, by the way, when you come to Kenya, if there's any way you can, and I mean you can because the price might be high, if there's any way you can, come to Karunguru, enjoy the coffee, enjoy the cows, enjoy the ambience, enjoy anything you want in nature, because that's where you'll find it. For me, I must admit that at my core, I am two things. Firstly, a preacher. And when I say preach, I mean there are 7 ways you can evangelize the world. And so I talk about God. And I talk about Him in very many forums. And for example, the prayer breakfast is this month. And so I'm very much part of hosting the prayer breakfast. where the nation comes to prayer, the lay nation comes to prayer for a whole morning just to honor God. But more importantly, the vocation that God gave me, the purpose He gave me was investment banking. And there are so many things I'm still to accomplish in that area. So I want to say that investment banking is actually what we call financial disintermediation. I remove the bank from between people and the funding they need to achieve their ideas. I get the bank out of the way. And I find ways for you to come to those with money and those with ideas to merge and find their purpose. That's actually what I've done for, call it now 30 years. And so as I now look at the estate and the agriculture and other things that I'm giving over to my children, those things I have not yet accomplished in finance, which is my area. I want to spend at least the next 10 years accomplishing them, getting them to a better place. Kenya, unfortunately, sadly, since I left the financial sector maybe 15 years ago, has gone backwards. We have freer products than I had when I was doing this in my day. And we want to correct a lot of those things, help the stock exchange return to the way I left it in 2006. But most of all, get Kenyans to understand that the funding they want for their ideas is available, and that there are very many ways in which we can fulfill those ideas through financial disintermediation. But as I look at that, I know that a time will come when I'll just want to sit on the porch, just relax, go on holidays, fulfill my bucket list of locations all over the world. I'm thinking of, I've not been to Australia, I've not been to South America. Yeah, lots of travel, a lot of travel, because when I was younger, that ticket was a very big part of any budget. I have traveled a lot, but there are very many places I still want to go. And also I'm a mountaineer. Mount Kenya and Mount Kilimanjaro, in terms of both destinations, and trying to ensure that climbing them is not as hard as it used to be. Big visions of mine. And so a lot to do as a person, but retirement for me is really not about stopping working. It's about changing what you've been doing to do only what you love. So really what I'm saying is, I have now the capacity to give back to the next generation those things I was doing because I had to do them. And then take up the 5% of things that I feel, this is what I just enjoy. I don't have to be asked to do this. I don't have to be paid to do it. I just love doing it. And so that's what I'm headed towards now.